They should get Diggs in Pittsburgh. Can you imagine that three-headed monster? Oh my God. Absolutely destroying locker rooms after the game. Mike Tomlin would have his hands full.
All right, welcome back. Episode 12 of the Borderline Sports Pod. This episode is going to be just based on free agency and some trades that we had over the last week. Free agency kicked off here on Monday, so just kind of going through some initial moves, talking about some people that might still be available and just how they'll fit in with the grand scheme of things. So let's get into it. Let's kick it off, dude. First and foremost, saw DK Metcalf moved to the Steelers. I guess what do you think? How's that fit in? What do you expect to see with George Pickens over there?
Yeah, I'm expecting to see a split locker room. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, interesting pickup for the Steelers. I think they definitely needed some help over there and should help free up things for George Pickens. Definitely comes as a bit of a shock. I mean, Seahawks really have just gone into full rebuild mode, which I think is surprising. They obviously cut Lockett and then traded DK, but yeah, I mean, Steelers got a much needed weapon, and hopefully this can help get them out of mediocrity here. What about you?
Yeah, I think they should offer betting lines on first one to like get kicked out of a game or start a fight or just because they're gonna be going at it. I would hate to be a cornerback in that division. Um, Saw a couple, I think it was Ravens corner left. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be on that side of it, but that kind of, I don't know, that was kind of the big move to start. It was, the Packers were rumored in that ended up being a second round draft pick, I believe, that got traded for him. And then he also got signed for 5 years, 150 mil. So I'm honestly not too sad that the Packers weren't willing to pay him 30 mil a year. But that was kind of the kickoff. And then of course had the Raiders making a move for Geno. And then the Seahawks bringing in Sam Darnold. So which who do you think got the better end of the stick there? Bringing in Sam Darnold. I know that's guy's got a soft spot in your heart, but um, do you think
Yeah,
how much better do the Seahawks get?
I it all really comes down to the play of their O line. They got a pretty makeshift O line over there already, so that does lead me to have some concerns. I think Gino was kind of able to get the most out of that O line that he could. He might be a little better, a little more elusive than Sam, but I know Gino was asking for 10 or 15 more mil a year, and I don't think they wanted to pay him that. Geno Smith is 34 years old, and I think it was a good, he wasn't necessarily a bridge quarterback, a little more than a bridge quarterback. I think it was more of a trial, and then, oh wow, look what we have here. Let's see what we can do with some of the pieces around him that we have signed already. And I think they just kind of realized, we're probably not going to be going to the Super Bowl anytime soon with Geno and this team, and it's probably time to look towards the future, maybe shift some things around. So I do think that the Seahawks made the correct decision here, letting Geno go, and you know, um, I think for the Raiders. I think it was a good pickup for the Raiders to get Geno as well. Because I mean, they're not totally in tank mode or rebuild mode. They just signed Crosby. They have some weapons. They got Bowers. I think I still think they want to win this year. And obviously the Seahawks do too. But with what weapons? Like, I mean, it's really just Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba. So, decent signing. I don't really see, I don't know if there's a loser necessarily out of it, but they did pay, you know, my boy Darney got paid. So I think, he hats off to him. I would have chased the bag as well. He's never really gotten a fat contract other than his rookie contract. So, and he did have a great regular season last year. So, you know, we'll
Great.
see. We'll see how things pan out, but hats off to him.
Yeah, great regular season out of him. Um, I guess I don't know what to expect. I mean, the Seahawks almost seem like they're might be in some sort of tank mode. I mean, letting both wide receivers walk. Don't have a ton going on for them on that side of the football, and maybe they thought Sam Darnold was their best chance to make something happen over there. Clearly, it wasn't Geno, but for the Raiders, I think it at least gives them they got him for pretty cheap, and it gives them flexibility now. I think they're picking third in the draft to not have to take a quarterback. You at least got something to plug into that position. So they re-signed Crosby. They got some decent players on offense coming back. Um, so I guess I don't know. End of the day, it's not moving the needle for much, but like I said, I think it's good for the Raiders to at least have some sort of direction that they're moving in to get some star power in this year's draft with the third pick there. So um kind of next thing moving on, Justin Fields signed with the Jets. Pretty big money, 2-year, 40 million deal, 30 mil guaranteed. Um, this one's quite curious to me. I mean, for him, I don't know if there's no market, no demand, but to sign with the Jets is kind of, I don't want to say it's a career killer, but you know, that team is literally just known to absolutely end careers. So be interested to see how he plays. I mean, they got plenty of weapons over there, but the offensive line's not great. So maybe that's why they went with them, the scrambling effect. But I guess I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, my initial thoughts were, oh boy, I'm nervous for my two players that are on the Jets in fantasy. I don't think this moves the needle much in the direction of winning. However, um, you never know. Maybe Justin Fields has grown up a little bit. I know, it's great to have Justin Fields back with Garrett Wilson. I think that's kind of their idea was uh, was kind of pairing those two back together. But I don't know. I mean, it's the same old Jets, in my opinion. I don't think this puts them in any position to make the playoffs, if I'm being quite honest. Like, they are just kind of stuck where they're at. I mean, if Justin Fields can elevate and just, I mean, I think that makes the offense, a little more dynamic, perhaps. They have more ways to attack. Maybe this can open things up for Breece Hall with the scrambling ability of Justin Fields, but obviously he's not as accurate of a quarterback as Rodgers, but kind of adds a dual threat to their offense. I just don't think it pushes the needle in the direction of more wins. Do you?
No, but at the same time, their division is kind of weak outside of the Josh Allen Bills. So who knows what could happen over there. Um, I guess a couple other quarterbacks still out there. Jameis, Russ. Guess they're kind of the last couple here. The left in free agency had Jacoby Brissett signing with the Cardinals. Obviously, just a backup spot. Jimmy G's back with the Rams. Again, just backup spot. And then Daniel Jones is actually returning to the NFL as a Indianapolis Colt. So quite a QB battle you got down there. You got the Danny Dimes versus AR-15 or whatever the fuck his number is. So um, um, I don't know. I don't know. Colts, the Colts, like a couple years ago, I thought were kind of creeping up to be decent when they made the head coaching change. You had JT back there. Didn't really matter what their quarterback did. They just gave him the ball and he did fine. And they'd always had like decent defensive play, really good O line. So um, I don't know. That Colts team is that whole AFC South is just kind of like an anomaly of piss, dude. So that kind of wraps up what we had for QBs. Some running back news. Aaron Jones, 2 year, 20 mil with the Vikings returning. Um, you excited about this, or what do you think?
The 2 year deal is interesting to me. Obviously he's at the closer to the tail end of his career, but um, I think he's got a great punch in the first half. It's just, can he finish games? Is he going to continue? Like, can he play, an entire game and it kind of impose his will in the second half? I mean, we kind of need, um, like we didn't. It's not like we paid him $1 zillion. It's more money than he had last year. I think his deal last year was 1 year, 7 million. So we upped his contract a little bit, but I do think he's vital. He's good at pass catching down the field. He's still explosive. It's just I think we're gonna need to also find someone, um, whether it be in the draft or sign an RB2 that's gonna be able to kind of close out games for us and be more of a ground and pound guy where Aaron Jones is a little more electrifying in spurts, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you got running back one money for being a really good third down running back, like you said, pass catching. I just don't think he has the ability to stay in there for whole drives, run it down the throat of people. So I don't know. I don't know if it was like a goodwill thing, trying to keep him around, but I just think it was somewhat of a overpay for what you're getting with him, especially injury history and that type of thing. Um,
Right. Which I think
not,
is I think it's fair, but um yeah, I mean he is 30 years old at the end of the day. It's surprising when a player like this, you know, even how old is Alvin Kamara, man? Like 29
feels
almost.
feels like he's older than that.
Yeah, I know
He's 20,
they're they're
he's 29, yeah, but he feels like he's
yeah,
like
they're like
35.
top two older running backs, I feel like. Derrick Henry is also up there as well, but he's a physical specimen. So um yeah, I don't know. It's not something to write home about, but if we would have lost him, I think this reminds me of like a few years ago when we just let once we let Cook walk, even at the end of his career, and all we had was Alexander Madison, like that was a nightmare. So I think we needed to lock down, you know, at least someone who can start the game for us, um, and put us in a position to move the ball, kind of ground and pound early, and then we can kind of have someone else come in and perhaps finish the game. We'll see.
Yeah. More running back news, Najee Harris, the Chargers, 1 year deal worth up to 9.25 million. I feel like he's a really good fit for the Chargers, just that Harbaugh offense. He kind of wants to, run their ground and pound. But I guess that brings into question where Dobbins is going to go. He was obviously the running back last year. They do have, I can't think of his name, from Michigan, rookie last year. So more of a bruiser. So I guess their Chargers are kind of starting to fill out, Harbaugh style football that they like to play with, bigger backs and kind of run it at you. Um,
Yeah.
I guess there's a couple other running backs still left out there. You got Rico Dowdle, played well with the Cowboys, who just signed Javonte Williams, if I'm not mistaken. So he's available. You got Kenneth Gainwell. That's literally just a straight up backup running back. So um, maybe that's the move for the Vikings. Then Nick Chubb, who came back after blowing up his ACL. I think he still would be like a good, kind of reminds me of like a Kareem Hunt, like just give him the ball on those third and ones, let him go to work. So it kind of rounds out the running backs left out there.
Yeah,
Start
real
talking.
quick, just on Najee Harris, though.
Yeah,
And this one is kind of surprising to me. Like, what this fall off of Najee is like crazy, man. Does not seem like he's been in the league for that long. He was drafted in the first round of 2021, and he's really just, I mean, 1 year. swear he was like the number one pick in fantasy, and dude just really kind of fell from grace. I didn't even realize he was off the Steelers, if I'm being quite honest with you. Um,
He kind of he's
he
just
d-
very
his
average. I feel like he
his
doesn't
running
mi
style is also just straight up and down, like the way he stands. He's so big,
he
not that quick, I feel like.
he doesn't miss games. I mean, I think he's had 1,000 yards every year. I mean, he's just plug and play. You're gonna get, and I don't know. I wouldn't be super excited about paying him 9.25 million, but it fits the Chargers mold, so see how they handle it. Um,
Yeah, fair enough.
Biggest receivers going. Chris Godwin resigns with the Bucks, 3 years, 66 million, 44 million guaranteed, so good for him. I mean, he big injury last year at the end, torn ACL a couple years ago, so good for him to lock down that guarantee, I guess, for the Bucks too. Keeps Baker with some good weapons over there. Obviously, they got Mike Evans, Bucky. They got some good weapons. I think they're definitely still the best team over in the NFC East. So, what do you or NFC South? I'm sorry. What do you think?
Yeah. Kind of just remains to be determined. I mean, yeah, he's 29. He's had some injuries. He's obviously very good when he plays. I mean, he was leading the league in receiving like the first 5 or 6 weeks of the year, I want to say. Maybe not yards, but fantasy wise, I know he was a top producer. Um, so yeah, 3 year, $66 million deal. Good for him, honestly. It's crazy that he's still out here when like he won a Super Bowl in 2020 or 2021 with the Patriot or excuse me with the Tampa Bay Patriots with Tom Brady and Gronk out there and um yeah, it's nice to see that he's still going. He's, definitely pretty old, but overall, good for him for getting his bag. He's a good player.
Leads us to Devontae signing with the Rams. Kind of a surprise here for me. 2 years, 46 mil. I think that all but assures that Cup's gone and they're going to pair Adams and Puka together. And I mean, Adams still, he showed last year, especially towards the end of the season, that he still got it. He's still maybe he's not top 10, but he's, a great weapon to have and, bring some experience there to, if you are to go out and get somebody, teach him the game. Any thoughts on this guy?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely scary. I mean, you could see kind of Cooper Kupp's fall off last year. Um, and just, adding someone like Adams for as a, receiving threat for Stafford. This is an interesting one here. I don't think this is one that many people expected. At least I did not see it coming. It's kind of how free agency works, but yeah, I mean, Puka and Adams, that's gonna be something to deal with for opposing defenses and cornerbacks.
Agreed. A couple big names still not to be signed anywhere. Got Amari Cooper, who I mean, when he came into the league was elite, dynamic, had a little bit of injury history, bounced around quite a bit, but I think when he's healthy, I mean, he's not Devontae Adams good, but he's a vet receiver that you know what you're gonna get for the most part. Stephon Diggs as well. He's going off the torn ACL, but interested to see where both these guys land, especially with the Texans kind of just siphoning their entire offense. I don't know what their plan is if they're gonna, try to make a run, getting more skill players. So,
They should get
um,
Diggs. They should get Diggs in Pittsburgh. Can you imagine that three-headed monster? Oh my God. Just destroying, just absolutely destroying locker rooms after the game. Mike Tomlin would have his hands full. Imagine you throw Rodgers in that pot too, and just just let the pot cook, bro. be on fire. But no. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, be curious to see where a couple of these guys end up. I just had to make that comment.
um, yeah, Hollywood Brown returned to the Chiefs. 1 year, 11 mil. I think that's pretty reasonable. I mean, you got Rashee Rice coming back off the injury. Not sure how he's going to play. Obviously, still got Worthy on the rookie contract, so it's kind of keeping some weapons around Mahomes over there. Um, Darius Slayton returned to the Giants. Hopefully they can get a QB, you know. I don't seems like they haven't really done much this free agency with what they got going on, but you know, hey, maybe Dable's got a master plan, you know, the mega mind over there himself.
Yeah, they're down to play Slate and 36 million a year, but they're not down to pay Saquon 37 or whatever it was, 38.
Well, that's what
I mean,
happens when
what
you got Daniel Jones taking up 40, you know.
oh my God, what are they doing, dude? It's like where did that money where did that money even go? They're just paying that. They have to pay it out. Like, how does it even work when you just cut your franchise guy that you just gave a max contract to?
I
Just
yeah, I'm sure it just goes into dead cap. Sounds
dead cap.
counts towards your space, but you're not actually paying anyone for. Um,
I see.
Quite a decision over there. Really
Yeah.
set them back decades. Um,
Oh, dude. I mean, them and the Jets, it just doesn't get worse. I think
honestly, dude,
the Browns' situation is even what?
The Vikings already set the Giants up so bad by letting Daniel Jones torch them in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
I mean, it's true though. That
The
was the
Vikings
signature.
ruined the
The Jet.
Giants.
Well, I'm fine with it,
No,
honestly.
I mean I don't have any, it's
Fuck them.
just I'm just letting you know what's going on over there.
That's thanks to our boy Ed Donatel, a former Packer coordinator who we then brought over to the Vikings and just let the Colts team put up 33 points on us
something
in the
about the
first half.
something
I
about the
mean,
Vikings, dude, just loving the Packers old
yeah,
decrepit
well,
players.
we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. That's some news that's going to drop any minute now, if it hasn't yet.
De'Ami Brown to the Jags. I mean, decent pickup for the Jags. They're still
I like
terrible.
this. Yeah, this doesn't really move the needle too much. I like this. I'm just surprised all he could fetch was a $10 million deal for 1 year. Does this guy have like crazy off the field issues?
Yeah, I mean, Jags probably don't
Or
even
did
know
he
if
just have like a big season in the playoffs? Because this is like a surprise to me. I don't know.
I feel like the Jags just aren't paying anybody in case they're not a team next year. It's just go insolvent and shut down.
But true, they're probably going to move to London.
Um, Couple wide receivers still out there. Mike
Join.
Williams feels like he's 100, but he's actually not. He's only 30.
Yeah.
Um, Elijah Moore, who I think is, you know, a decent option. Got Keenan Allen. I mean, I don't know what to say about this guy. If, you know, you're a team that's got a lot of young receivers and you want to sign him for cheap, maybe. Um, but not really sure where he's gonna fall. D-Hop, kind of the same thing. I mean, this guy is like a feels like he's like an NFL legend. He's been in the league so long and he's only 33. So, um,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Keenan Allen has some more left in the tank. D-Hop, man, I hate to say it, but I don't know. If you can't perform with Patty Mahomes, who can make anyone look good, probably out on you, dog.
finally got Josh Palmer going to the Bills. I think it's a decent deal for the Bills. You know, they lost Matt Collins. So just kind of they re-signed Shakir, so just kind of, you know, trying to fill that team out around and make it not the Buffalo Josh Allens anymore. Um, Kind of wraps up most of the wide receivers.
Mhm.
Um, Tight ends, Evan Ingram, I mean, feel like he's a decent player. I want to go out and spend a ton of money on him. This market's kind of weak. Yeah, Gesicki returned to the Bengals. Um, he seemed like he had some games where it was like he had like 8 catches, 100 yards, So definitely still has it. I think that's kind of a product of playing with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on your team, though. That
And Joe Burrow as your quarterback.
yeah, you're just bound to have a little bit more open time.
Fornem has the nastiest gritty in the game, though. Let's not forget that.
Um, Skip ahead and kind of get to some bigger signings for the NFC North here. Bears got Drew Dahlman. Um, I don't, I mean, if you're going to talk to me about interior offensive linemen, I don't know left from right. Just kind of going off what the people that actually do know what offensive linemen are supposed to do outside of left tackles tell me. So he's the number one ranked interior offensive line. We'll see. Obviously, the Bears need him. Um, they did a lot to try to bolster their line here, both sides. Um, Will Fries going to the Vikings from the Colts,
Yeah.
5 year, 88 mil. Um, no idea what this guy brings again. I'm not I'm not out here evaluating interior offensive linemen. What are you?
Yeah.
What
Um,
you heard?
yeah, I mean, I think this is a much needed signing for us. This is probably, 5 years, 88 million. That's a big contract. He's going to have to step it up. But I watched some highlight tape earlier of him just absolutely pancaking the shit out of some guys on the Colts last season. So I'm not also an interior lineman analyst here or scout. So couldn't exactly tell you, but good to have him. We're happy he's a Viking, honestly. We needed some help on the interior side. So
Broke his tibia week 5, so see if he comes back. Um, Mekhi Becton's still available. Really, really good. I actually know he's good. I actually have seen him just maul people, so um, I'm guessing the Eagles are going to try to re-sign him. Um, Vikings, Ryan Kelly, so another guard for him. Um, a lot of injuries in the
yeah,
past, it
this
sounds like, but 2 year, 18 million.
this guy will replace Garrett Bradbury. He's a better pass blocker. So interested to see how that works. He's definitely older, but should be a kind of a hopefully not a patchwork fix, but should help on the pass blocking side. And yeah, we'll see. A couple of Colts joining the Vikings, so um,
Yeah, and you give up your pride and joy, Daniel Jones to him. It's actually L not re-signing him.
yeah. Well,
I think JJ needs someone to mentor him, and he could have been a good option.
TJ, absolutely not.
And then oh
Yeah,
god,
keep going.
news for the Packers. Aaron Banks coming over from the Niners. 4 years, 77 mil. I mean, played for the Niners. Hopefully he's good. Heard some good things about him, but I guess I'm not really sure. We'll see what happens. I mean, I feel like the Packers
So
had a decent offensive line, suffered an injury at the end. And I guess it sounds like Josh Myers is walking, so he will inevitably, from what I've heard, replace him. Um, no other
I feel like
comments.
Mekhi Becton's probably gonna pull some more money here. I mean, he's by far the youngest and he had a great season, but I don't
And
know.
he's and he's huge.
Maybe that was a product of the freaking Philly, their legendary O-line system, but no, yeah, he's massive. So interested.
Felt like this one was
Bro.
coming, that Josh Sweat would end up leaving the Eagles. I mean, they just didn't have enough money to go around.
Mhm.
Um, Kind of the Cardinals, 4 years, 76 mil, 41 guaranteed. I mean, great player. Um, got a Super Bowl there. And takes his talents to get paid and probably enjoy some nicer weather down in Arizona. Um, Another ex-Eagle that I don't even know if he's played last year, Hassan Reddick. Um, ended up going to the Bucks. 1 year, 14 mil. Again, I think a couple years ago, it probably fetches quite a bit more than that. But seeing as he just wouldn't go to the practice field, he took a little pay cut. So interested to see how he looks when he comes back, lost a step, whatnot. Any thoughts on these two guys?
No, I think you hit it nail on the coffin right there with Josh Sweat. They just can't pay all these players, and they're gonna rethink their signings moving forward. So yeah, they had to let someone go. Josh Sweat happened to be that person. Hassan Reddick. Yeah, like I don't think he did play last year. I couldn't guarantee that, but he is gone from his very brief stint. I don't know if you could even call it that, but with the Jets. I forgot what he looks like on the football field, but best of luck in Tampa Bay.
Khalil Mack re-signing with the Chargers. News that Joey Bosa was not going to return. So they get re-sign their guy on the other side of the field. 1 year, 18 mil. Um, he's getting older, but I mean, you saw it with, I mean, these older pass rushers. I mean, they still perform for the most part. Trying to think of what's his name. Dude, the old Broncos went to the Bills.
Oh, Von Miller.
Yeah. So, I mean, these dudes play. I mean, Jared Allen, Julius Peppers, these dudes can play till they're 40. So not a big surprise there. I think it's a good re-sign for them. Um, Interesting one. Never heard of this guy, but like anytime the Bears sign someone, all I see on Twitter is that he's basically like Jesus Christ returning. So Deo Odeyingbo, coming from the Colts, 3 year, 48 mil. Have you heard of this guy? I mean, I don't watch Colts football because it's dog shit, but what do you think?
34 combined sacks and QB hits over the last 2 years. I mean, solid production. Never heard of him.
Yep. So TBD, like I said, I mean, it's hard to gauge anytime the Bears sign someone, it's basically like he's the best player at his position. So we'll see if that is true. Chase Young, 3 year, 51 mil. The Saints. This is actually a joke. I mean, this guy is just not good at football. He's literally just living, I feel like, off the hype of what he did at OSU. Um, Continues to get paid to put up very average production. So, um, you
Below
know,
average, probably.
yeah, I guess. What do you,
They
yeah,
call him a poor man's Jadeveon Clowney, dude.
yeah,
There's not a
Jadeveon Clowney kept getting paid for that one hit. Do you remember that?
right. I totally remember that. Oh yeah.
And it's like this isn't college football anymore at some point. He's been in the league for five
I'm sure
years.
Chase Young is just way like out of shape usually too. Like just from what I
Yeah.
remember, I could see him huffing and puffing when he was on the Niners when they
Um,
went on their little run.
some other kind of big names we got here. DeMarcus Lawrence getting older, but um, I think he's a good pickup for a team rotational edge rusher there. Talked about Bosa a little bit. Um, if he can even get to like 3/4 of what he used to be, great pickup for somebody. Um, a couple of these guys I never really heard of. Zadarius Smith, bum. I think he completed the cycle of all the of all the NFC North teams. Maybe he hasn't been on the Bears, but I think he has. But definitely been on the Packers, Vikings, and Lions. So um, that's
We can only expect to know where he's gonna land next, man.
dude. He loves the North.
He does. He does.
Maybe he'll take on an AFC North team and just then he'll hop around those four and call it a career. Um, Chauncey Golston resigning with the Giants. I think he's a pretty solid player. I mean, nothing special there. Not gonna make front page news that you just acquired Chauncey Golston. Getting into some of the interior D linemen, Milton Williams. Um, going to the Patriots, 4 year, 104 million. So kind of a big loss there for the Eagles, but I'm sure they'll just draft some drunk driver from Georgia to replace him. Um,
We got some breaking news here.
what, dude?
We're gonna break some news on the pod. DeAndre Hopkins reaches agreement on 1 year, 5 million deal with the Ravens.
Wow.
So not anything too crazy, but that's our first time breaking news on the pod here.
Dude,
Um,
do you feel like there's something with
the
like
Ravens and just signing washed up
I was gonna say like 35-year-old receivers like Julio Jones that basically just go to like
the
the
teams
most
with the
elite teams of all time. Like Julio
oh,
Jones just goes to the Eagles. He was on the Buccaneers, wasn't he? With
he
Brady.
wasn't, I think so.
Like
Yeah.
he just like you're like, dude, fuck it. I'll take $3 million to
They're
not
just
do it.
trying to just trying to get a ring, dude. Honestly, just praying they can eke one out or even, get a poor man's backup ring. Um, yeah, no, I totally know what you're talking about. It's like it's always the teams with the best quarterbacks likely have won a Super Bowl or are about to win a Super Bowl.
I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, you just want to get that ring, get out, not have to do much. But I just think it's funny. It just seemed like every year it was Julio Jones signing with like the top favorite team to win the Super Bowl for a while. Um,
I
and
agree.
getting back to it, we got Javon Hargrave leaving the Niners. This would be a great pickup for a team, in my opinion. But this kind of feeds into what are the Niners doing? They haven't even tried to retain anybody on this team. Um, Obviously they got to pay Purdy, but you know, in the process are just kind of destroying what they worked the last since 2015 to build. So questionable decision over there.
A lot of question marks over there.
We got Calais Campbell, um, old man, still plays well every year. And again, something about D linemen that he had Vince Wilfork play till he was like 60, like these guys just when you're 350 pounds, like it doesn't matter. Like you're not gonna get moved. So might not be as quick, but definitely first and second downs, viable option. Jonathan Allen to the Vikings, 3 year, 51 mil. He's looking for a trade, I guess, but what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be a great addition to a core that already has Jonathan Grenard, Harrison Phillips. Um, I cannot think of what's the guy that looks like a Viking?
Van Ginkel?
Van Ginkel, yeah. I think this is a good addition to our D line for sure. Yeah, Jonathan Grenard, Harrison Phillips, Jonathan Allen, Van Ginkel. We got some playmakers. So, obviously he's a little bit older, but he's been really good for a long time here. And yeah, hopefully he comes in and has a big impact. We definitely need to get better in the trenches, so I like it.
Some linebacker news. Talked about Zach Bond last week. After that, kind of the next big signing here is Dre Greenlaw going to the Broncos. Again, this is just another player from the Niners exiting. 3 year, 35 million. I think he's still elite. I think when they didn't have him in, you could really tell. I know they had Fred Warner still, but that was a linebacking core that for so long was like bar none the best I'd ever seen in my life. Like all three of them would just kill people. Um, Remind me of like old school like Steelers football and stuff at Ravens football growing up with Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs. So they are breaking up officially, and he'll be a Bronco.
You remember that clip of Greenlaw? They're getting ready to run onto the field, and that's when he ruptured his Achilles, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like they were celebrating or something. That was so
No,
brutal.
he was literally just going back into the game.
It's brutal, dude.
Was that a big
Oh,
point too? I think they were leading.
yeah. No, it was definitely at a big point. I think he was having a great game too, honestly, but can't remember specifics. But yeah, that's tough, man. But yeah, I mean, adding the Broncos adding him to their defense. Broncos have a sneaky, scary defense for sure. I don't even know if it's sneaky anymore.
No, that's not really sneaky. I think their D line could get a little bit better, but
Yeah.
definitely their linebacker back end is really solid. And I mean, I think the blueprint has shown that defense with a young quarterback that you don't have to pay, 30 million a year, Purdy literally is kind of the you have two routes. You have Pat Mahomes or have a rookie quarterback that can do that for you. So um yeah. Next linebacker off the board, Nick Bolton, back to the Chiefs, 3-year, 45, respectable. I mean, he's a great player. Um, Played really well in the Super Bowl, I thought, and kind of shows up and is a dog. Couple older linebackers getting signed. Bobby Wagner, dude, I don't even feels like he's been all over the place the last couple of years, but go back to the Commanders, 9.5 million for a 35-year-old Bobby Wagner. So we'll see how that pans out for him. It feels like Washington's kind of spending a lot of money. I don't know, but they're in kind of win now mode. So um, that's
Yeah.
that. Levante David, ex absolute dog. I don't know how he's been playing, but back with the Bucks, feels like he's been there since I was like 12. Um, See how that goes for them. Any thoughts on some of these linebackers?
No, obviously Bobby Wagner, Levante David, like you mentioned, 35 years old, but still playing well and still getting paid on these 1 year contracts. So good for them. Um, Tyrell Dodson, never ever heard of this guy, I don't think. Just said he was not a fit for Coach Mike McDaniel's defense. So, no, nothing too crazy. I mean, yeah, I think I kind of touched on what I wanted to touch on earlier, talking about Greenlaw, and then yeah, we can move forward onto cornerbacks here.
Yeah, one cornerback payday. JC Horn got absolutely paid by the Panthers. God, I mean, I don't know how that moves the needle for a non-competitive team to pay a cornerback elite money like that, but hey, not my team. Then we got uh, one more safety I want to talk about. Talano Hufanga, ex-Niner, signed by the Broncos. So they're continuing, like I said, to really bolster that defense. Yeah, what do you think about JC Horn and or Hufanga?
I haven't watched too much of JC Horn, honestly. I know he's had some injury problems from what I read into, but it sounds like he's a dog when he plays. So good for them. I obviously saw, well, just Hufanga. I honestly don't remember him really either too well. I do want to touch on, the
Watch the
Vikings. What'd you say?
watch the tape, bro.
I'm sure he's a dog. Um, a couple people to touch on, I think, as well. DJ Reed and Byron Murphy, a couple cornerbacks that were picked up. DJ Reed going to the Lions. He's 28. I think the Vikings wanted DJ Reed, but ended up going with the Lions. It's a pretty good pickup for them. Should really help their depleted ass defense. Um, and then Byron Murphy, great year last year, 6 interceptions. had a career year last year. I think he definitely earned his contract, and the Vikings need good cornerbacks. So glad we re-signed him to, yeah,
Never heard of him.
a
Um,
$66 million 3-year deal. So
Nate Hobbs going to the Packers, 4 year, 48 million. Um, Carlton Davis going to the Patriots, Shavarius Ward going to the Colts. So corners seem like they're just moving around. Um, Still a couple available. Stephon Gilmore. Um, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
I mean, he
Res-
honestly wasn't horrible last season. He can still make plays. He's just like he lost a step. Homie lost a step for sure. Couple steps maybe. He did. I mean, he picked off the game-winning interception in the Jets Vikings game. Picked off old ass
Oh,
Rodgers,
the
but
Jets,
he did
Vikings.
get
What a
burned.
bit
He got
off.
burned at one point. I just like there's some bad ones in there, but there,
Rasul
there was a couple good ones in there too. I wouldn't veteran minimum if you need them.
I just have like this imprint in my brain of him like falling down on a go route and leaving this guy wide open.
Yeah, no, there was a couple of those, and he
Uh,
also is just known for holding.
you got Rasul Douglas. I mean, this is another like putting the caution tape around this guy. He was hardly serviceable on the Packers like 4 or 5 years ago. So that wraps up corners. I mean, safety, this might be one of the worst signings I've ever seen in my life, Javon Holland. Um, this guy is not very good at football. I haven't heard anything good about this guy in a while. But he's getting
Just
3 years, 45 mil with the Giants, so pretty much on brand. I mean, if someone signs a dog shit contract, you can almost guarantee it's like the Giants or Jags. Um, so,
oh
um,
man, hasn't looked the same since his 2023 knee injury. That is tough.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So we'll see.
yeah,
We'll see.
mm,
This was a good pickup, I think. Justin Reed to the Saints. I remember, I mean, he's solid. 3 year, 31 mil. So, um, yeah, like that. The Fongo we talked about. Um, After that, it's kind of bleak in terms of safeties. I mean, safeties not.
Cam Bynum is actually very good. I'm sad to see him go. I mean, um, let me see how many picks he had last year. He might have had 5 or 6 picks last year. Um, he's a ball hawk for sure. So anyone that gets him is good. I'm sad to see him go. Big team culture guy. I just don't think we could have paid him and um, Byron Murphy, unfortunately. But he had 3 picks last year, I think. Yeah. Either way, good for the Colts for picking him up. He is good. He's sneaky good, and he's young too. I'm surprised we got rid of him, but
Yeah, it's
I
honestly
miss him. I miss him already.
it's honestly crazy. I think the Vikings honestly had the biggest fumble all free agency. Uh, they could have re-signed Sam Darnold, bro, but let him walk. So
It's a shame.
we'll see, dude. I think that Org's kind of cursed, especially just doing your guy in like that literally backpacked um your team, you know.
Yeah.
Then they just failed him when it mattered most,
Mm.
specifically KOC. So
Yeah. No. I beg to differ here on this take. I
not up for debate.
not up for debate. Yeah, it's true. Honestly, should have re-signed him. I mean, it's not like we didn't want him on the team. I think we definitely lowballed the shit out of him on a contract offer. I think it was 1 year, 27 million is what we would have given. And some people were even upset about that. So,
It's a steal for a player his caliber.
I mean, what like, dude, it's gonna be the Seahawks. I mean, like, yeah, Jackson Smith the Jigba is probably gonna catch some nice deep balls from Darnold, but like. dude, like there's no O-line, there's no weapons. I guess they have a bit of a run game, probably more of a run game than the Vikings with Kenneth Walker Jr. and Charbonnet, but there's no O-line, so I don't know. I would be interested to see. I mean, who knows? Maybe he goes and has a freaking Hall of Fame career after this, but
He
I think the
will.
Vikings
He'll be
took
the
their
one.
chances on that.
He'll be the one the Vikings let go. The one you like always want back. Um,
To parlay off this, where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going?
Vikings.
You think so?
No, I think he's going to the Steelers maybe, or just hanging him up. I could see him just hanging him up. Where the
Dude,
f-
I don't think he's gonna hang him up, dude. He's a psycho. He's not. There's no way he's quitting. He has. I feel like he's been through too much the last couple of years to just call it quits now, dude. He's. I just feel like he's a psycho about football, and he like has to frickin'
I could see him
He's
going to
gonna.
the Giants, dude, too. I mean,
I
just
mean, he's doing
moving.
this. He's doing the exact same thing that his frickin' predecessor Brett Favre did, essentially at this point.
So
If he comes to the Vikings, I would be. I mean, I heard there was talk of him going to the Titans. Like, what the fuck, dude? Then it's time to hang him up.
I could see I would have said the Raiders before, like just before. It's kind of, he's from California, closer back home, hot weather, no tax. I feel like he's all about that.
Yeah.
But I guess there's a couple more talk about weren't necessarily completely free agent moves. Maybe they're unrestricted or restricted. Had Zach Wilson go on the Dolphins to back up Tua, so he'll obviously be playing football at some point this year.
Oh, that's rugged, dude. That's
Uh,
rugged.
um, I think we said Mac Hollins went to the Patriots. I think he's a pretty good player, dude.
Yeah, this is
Honestly,
kind of. I'm surprised the Bills kind of let him go.
also
But
had
Josh Allen can also just kind of make anyone look good. So
also had Robert Spillane, really good linebacker from the Raiders, signed with the Patriots. Um, I mean Ronnie Stanley back with the Ravens. Bengals list on here is long. I'm not going to bore you with it. They did sign TJ Slayton from the Packers, 2 year, 15.1 million. Pretty solid interior D lineman. I mean, literally a run stopper, can't do anything else. But obviously the Bengals still have T. Higgins up and not paid. So um see what happens there. The Browns literally with the splash of the year, acquiring Kenny Pickett in a trade. So can't wait for them to be back in the Super Bowl with that superstar QB. Um,
yeah, Kenny Pickett to the Browns. Like I heard that like before Myles Garrett signed his contract, they promised that they were getting him a Super Bowl winning dude, that clip of him just, throwing the ball backwards or whatever the hell, when he's literally looking forwards and his arms going forwards.
can't
I don't know.
teach it.
I mean, he also looks like he weighs like 160 or like not 160, maybe like
What?
170 soaking wet, dude.
He's got it's about the same as you. Um, Texans, I mean, they let everyone go on their offensive line, but they got Braxton Berrios. Um, assuming this is gonna be just TikTok clip central. Christian Kirk acquired in a trade. Um, you also got CJ Gardner Johnson too. So, they're doing everything but helping out their young QB. Um, what else we got on here? Um,
And Christian Kirk is, how old is Christian Kirk?
I feel like you can't be 30. You gotta be younger than that.
I mean, I feel like he's always sneaky the best receiver for the frickin' Jags for like the last like 3 years because they suck. But
Yeah, I would agree.
um,
Talked about
he's 28. He's 28. He's still pretty young. Yeah, keep going.
Javonte Williams back with the boys. Um, Solomon Thomas agreed a 2-year contract there, pretty solid player. They also signed Kevontae Turpin, 3-year, 18 million. Um, I guess their theory is they don't have to let Dak on the field if you just return every kickoff and punt. So kind of just minimizing their chances at picks, strip sacks.
Dude, I saw something like the Cowboys haven't had over a $6 million free agent signing per year, I think, in like since 2015. They just refuse to do anything in free agency.
Well, I didn't they have to pay Micah? Well, and obviously they paid fucking. I guess maybe they weren't free agents paying Dak.
It was a crazy stat. I mean, I don't know if it was 100% accurate, but like they just are, it was an insane stat actually. But that probably already breaks it.
The
I
Eagle
don't know.
the Eagles acquired their QB of the future, Dorian Thompson Robinson. He was part of the trade for Kenny Pickett. Honestly, I feel like the Browns kind of got fleeced giving up DTR for KP. Um,
PTR is not
Zach Ertz,
DTR, not that good.
no kidding. Zach Ertz resigns with the Commanders. Obviously, got Laramie Tunsil. Um,
Yeah, Laramie Tunsil trade is very surprising. Did he have a bad year last year, or like what the hell were they thinking?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Maybe that video resurfaced him smoking a gas mask, and they just couldn't do it for optics. Um,
Yeah, for real.
Packers re-signed McManus, Dog. Vikings gave a 39-year-old running back 2-year, 20 million. I think we talked about that.
We touched on that.
Leonard Floyd, Falcon, 1-year, 10 mil. Um, Andy Dalton's back with the Panthers on a 2-year deal.
All right, we're getting into the weeds here. I think
I'm highlighting the key points here. I'm almost done. Just let me go here. Zay Jones back with the Cardinals. Didn't even know he was on the Cardinals, but it says re-signing, so assuming he must have been. Um, Dude, the Niners, that's brutal. I didn't want to read that. And then, yeah, that is basically all the everything that happened. So, any closing thoughts? Anything you?
holy, it's a it's a big couple days, man. Like I'd kind of fallen off. I wasn't even aware free agency was starting yesterday. So, once the trade started hitting like crazy, it was like that's all I could pay attention to. So yeah, it's been a wild last couple days for sure. Um, closing thoughts. We wish Sam the best of luck in Seattle. You know, we hate to watch you. We hate to let you go.
Absolute fleece job out of
We hate to
Seahawks.
see you go, but we love to watch you leave, brother.
Absolute
Yeah,
fleece job out of Seahawks.
the Seahawks are in piss, and I think they're just getting a bridge quarterback so their fans don't commit suicide over the next 3 years.
I think they just became a contender.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But
I'm a little worried about my fantasy dynasty squad after this free agency. That's one thought. That's some thoughts I could give you. I got too much tied up in the Jets
that
because I'm
team's
an
been that
idiot.
the team's been pissed for a while. So you need to fucking pulse
And then
fire
yeah,
sale that dump.
yeah, and then I also have too much tied. Well, I got Kenneth Walker, and now I'm just like, dude, is this offense gonna be able to do anything? At least they
Yeah,
got
yeah.
they just
What
got
do
the
you
goat. They just got the goat in the NFL, dude.
Yeah, what do you mean are they gonna be able to do anything? What aren't they gonna be able to do?
Do you
They
think I? Do you think anything's gonna happen with Kirk?
maybe a giant. I don't know, dude. Who's taking on that contract that has a brain? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's one thing I just that. It doesn't. I think he's probably there for another year, but I
Yeah,
don't know
I don't
anyone.
know
I don't
what
know
it is.
anyone that would.
I don't know what it is, those Vikings quarterbacks, man. JJ McCarthy,
We just make them look good. KOC
JJ
makes them look good. That's what
JJ
happens.
McCarthy, you are next.
Dude, JJ McCarthy he's gonna be
He's
ready,
literally
bro.
destined to never win a playoff game.
Fuck out of here, bro. JJ is young. He's a winner. He's got all the weapons in the world. His O line just got better.
I
His
can't
defense has been bolstered.
can't wait for him to go like 12-5 and do a nice first round playoff game and inevitably lose 30-6.
Cap, bro. I think there was just, there was no there's no toughness mentality wise or physically wise about Sam Darnold or frickin' Kirk Cousins. So
I
I'm
think that
glad the eras are over, to be honest.
I think that stems from your head coach, if I'm being honest with you.
I don't think so. I
That's
mean,
fine.
I
That's
guess
fine. I respectfully
I
disagree.
guess maybe I shouldn't say physical toughness. Like Kirk's one of the freaking tougher quarterbacks, but like mentally, I feel like they both crumble. So,
Just a
you know,
product of that org, bro.
mm, mm. Well, I don't know. They did it before they came to the Vikes. Sam Darnold, for damn sure.
He just didn't get a
But
chance, bro. Everyone wrote him off, but he wasn't writing back.
oh, that's a wrap, huh?
Yeah, well, thanks for you made it this long. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. March Madness. Brackets come out Sunday, I believe. So we will have a look ahead, give you some obvious locks, teams to take. So yeah, stay tuned and see you next week. Peace.
Peace.